there have been allegations and stories that have come out on the internet that involve.
I'm like a fluke. I didn't know that there were possibly other at the time. I didn't know that. In retrospect, especially when I found out about the alleged that have come forward and looking at the timeline, but he picked you because you were young. He picked you because you were a child. He picked you because you were flat-chested.
We need to talk about the Marilyn Manson allegations you might not have heard of. So, I generally believe people have a good basic understanding of the allegations made against Manson, largely in part due to a documentary by HBO called Phoenix Rising. But I don't believe a lot of people know that there are other allegations that weren't even made in the documentary, or potentially how they could tie to his counter allegations made in his lawsuit against Evan Rachel Wood and her ex girlfriend, Ashley Illma Gore. So, in order to tie these details together for you, I actually need to go back and start with February 2021 when the allegations first came out. When Evan Rachel Wood came forward on social media with her allegations against Manson, she also shared letters from various state senators. Now, the details in these letters would vary, but the underlying premise was the same: to seek a federal FBI investigation into Marilyn Manson. In one letter dated just days prior to the allegations, California State Senator Susan Rubio requested the acting Attorney General of the United States and the director of the FBI for an investigation into Manson, with some details in this letter blocked out from public view. While Senator Rubio's letter was mentioned in some online news outlets, two other letters received very little media coverage, including the allegations made within them. In one Instagram post by Evan Rachel Wood, she shares a letter from Massachusetts State Representative Natalie Higgins. In her post, Evan Rachel Wood asked her readers to quote, "Please read the first line of this letter." The letter, dated February 5th, 2021, is to the Acting Attorney General of the United States and the FBI Director, similarly to Senator Rubio's letter. The first sentence says the following: "I am writing to you after learning of multiple allegations of human and sex trafficking that include underage individuals." And last, a third letter from a representative based in Florida requested an FBI investigation based on allegations of physical and SA that allegedly included underage individuals from the state of Florida. Essentially, we have three letters from state representatives requesting an FBI investigation into Marilyn Manson, with two letters detailing that there are allegations allegedly by underage individuals. While there was some media coverage on Senator Rubio's letter, there really wasn't that much coverage from the details made in these other letters about underage individuals. Now, up until this point, we've never really seen anything quite like this before, where several women go on social media to make allegations, and then state representatives provide letters asking for an FBI investigation into a celebrity that's only been accused. Don't get me wrong, these are very serious allegations, but where exactly is this information about underage individuals coming from? I ask this question because there is a unique situation here. We have an actress or actresses that are making allegations that are also linked to working with Senator Rubio. Senator Rubio helped with the Phoenix Act bill in California, and she even sat next to Evan Rachel Wood when she provided testimony. Personally, I feel like this is a valid question to ask because where are they getting this information from if an investigation already did not exist? At least that's what it sounds like if they're requesting a federal investigation into him. And we also have to consider Manson's counter allegations made in his lawsuit. According to Manson's lawsuit between 2019 and 2021, Illma Gore had multiple conversations with prospective accusers where she would claim an unreleased short art horror film from 1996 called Groupie depicted child misuse, CP, and that the actress unalived herself. During one such conversation in 2021, Illma said that the actress from the short art horror film was unalive, and if the video were ever released, Manson would be indicted. So, not only does Manson accuse Illma of knowing that this allegation was false, he also accuses her and Evan of planning a scheme to make false allegations against him and then amplify them publicly for use in a documentary. Further, by making these allegations that there was an underage actress in an unreleased film, it would amplify Evan and other women's allegations and make them more believable. Now, a detail you need to know is that when Evan Rachel Wood and these other women came forward with their allegations, there was no talk about groupie or child misuse or CP from them. The only allegations about there being underage individuals was in these letters from state representatives. And even the woman who would later claim that she was allegedly underage when she alleges she was with Manson didn't make those allegations to the media at that time. When Manson's lawsuit first came out, it wasn't exactly clear how he learned about these allegations. But you have to remember there's been an investigation in this time frame, there's been a raid on his residence, and there's also been at least one civil lawsuit that mentions Groupie by name. Whereas some of the other civil lawsuits mentioned being forced to watch a violent video, with one woman claiming in her lawsuit that Manson forced her to watch CP, and yet the same accuser later recanted her allegations completely. Considering the allegations from these other lawsuits talking about being forced to watch a video, or in one lawsuit actually bringing up Groupie by name, it brings me to an interesting question. Are these other videos mentioned in these other lawsuits actually talking about Groupie? Which leads me to another allegation that Manson makes in his lawsuit, where he alleges that this is all basically an orchestrated hoax, with Illma Gore, in coordination with Evan Rachel Wood, knowingly made false statements, with those statements then repeated in other lawsuits, including the claim that Manson filmed SA of an underage individual, which sounds like Groupie. With all of these details in mind, what are some things we can learn from publicly available court documents? According to court documents filed on Marilyn Manson's behalf, we have a declaration by a woman named Paula Weiss. Paula details that she is the actress in the unreleased film Groupie. According to Paula, this was a staged film where only her and Manson would know what was going on to get the real reactions of everyone in the room. And at the time, she was in a romantic relationship with Manson, and she was between 21 to 22 years of age. In addition, Manson also includes 4 screenshots of a conversation allegedly between Illma Gore and a woman named Catherine McGaffigan. According to Illma, she says on October 3rd, 2020, quote, "I'll be really candid with you. I run Phoenix alongside Evan Rachel Wood. We run into lots of teenagers being groomed by adults in the music industry. Evan, ex-staff, and others speak about the Groupie video. We know it isn't released because the girl was underage, and the content that is in it horrifies people." We also have another declaration filed on Manson's behalf from a woman named Michelle Meyer. According to Michelle Meyer, she details in her declaration phone conversations she had with Illma Gore, where Illma made specific allegations about Groupie. She alleges that Illma told her that her and Evan Rachel Wood collected evidence against Manson for at least 3 years, and reached out to other women, including multiple teenagers. She also details that Evan Rachel Wood got Esme Bianco involved, who is another Manson accuser. We also learn later on that not only does Illma Gore have to sit through a deposition related to Groupie, but she's also asked about audio clips Michelle Myers allegedly recorded of their conversations. This means that whatever Michelle said in her declaration about what Illma Gore told her in these phone calls can likely be backed up by these audio recordings. This is relevant because a lot of these allegations right now are basic he said, she said. We largely won't see a lot of this evidence until it plays out in trial. Now here's the thing, this isn't everything related to Groupie, related to the claims of CP. This is really one of those things that takes several videos to really get into the weeds about. And I haven't even touched upon what Evan Rachel Wood or Illma Gore have to say to all of this, or even the rest of Marilyn Manson's counter allegations, let alone what other accusers allege against him. So if you want to learn more about the Marilyn Manson allegations, what's being said in court filings, what's going on in the media, make sure to follow me to learn what the mainstream media is not reporting on.